Hi there, Premier. You talked about, how effective the response has been here and compared to Europe and to other places. But when people see, 500 or more cases every day, I don't think they see it as very effective. So, when you see restrictions or curfews happening in places in Europe, France going to a full lockdown, why are we waiting? Why not take more stringent measures now if that's the way, we're following our curve? Why not take more stringent measures now?
Well, because we've only recently seen a significant increase in cases, and the science is telling us, Dr. Henry and her team are telling us, that we can manage this, in this instance regionally, over the next 2 weeks. And if these measures are inadequate, we'll look at other measures. That is how we've been operating from the beginning. And people will judge us by the outcomes at the end of the day rather than on a daily basis. And obviously the election was an opportunity for people to have a say on the pandemic, and I spoke every single day of that election campaign about the importance of focusing on getting through this together. And that remains my commitment to British Columbians, and the government will be following through on that for the next 4 years, making sure that not only do we get out of the COVID-19 situation we're in, but also that we build an economy that includes everybody as we rebuild and build back to a place where British Columbians want to be. That's the mandate that I believe we've received, and that's what our focus is going to be.
You talked earlier about enforcement of these new rules. I'm just wondering, that's one of the things people automatically ask, how are you going to enforce rules that are designed to keep people apart from each other? So can you walk us through how you see that being handled?
Well, it's not so much on how people are interacting with their six or within their family units that I believe is an enforcement question. I think that people have to understand that large weddings, large gatherings for end-of-life, celebration of life ceremonies is not appropriate at this time. In my case, my father-in-law passed away during the election campaign, and he lives in Ontario. My spouse wasn't able to go and see her family and be with them, but we utilized the technology that all of us are now so familiar with, and it was a very special couple of hours that were able to happen because we made it happen. And I think that British Columbians need to find ways to grieve. They need to find ways to celebrate, and they need to do it with smaller groups of people. And that is something that I think all of us understand at the end of the day. When it comes to enforcement, I'm thinking more about how do we make sure that the notion of party buses, I mean, the driver of the bus may be safe, but the patrons are not. So how do we manage that? How do we manage gyms and other dance studios and other areas where we have people doing vigorous activity in enclosed spaces? And that means making sure that we're helping operators ensure that their plans are contemporary, up to date with current health restrictions, and are able to operate safely. We don't want to shut people down. We don't want to issue tickets. We want people to act responsibly. We want people to be safe, and we're going to keep working on that.